الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الذي لا إله سواه والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا مولانا محمد رسول الله وآله وأصحابه ومن والاه. اللهم تقبل منا صيامنا وصلاتنا وقيامنا. اللهم وفقنا لإتمام صيام شهر رمضان وقيامه إيمانا واحتسابا. اللهم لا تكلنا في شيء من أمورنا إلى أنفسنا ولا إلى شيء من خلقك طرفة عين، وأصلح لنا شأننا كله. لا إله إلا أنت. اللهم اجعلنا من الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. اللهم افتح مسامع قلوبنا لذكرك. آمين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open the hearing channels of our hearts to that which reminds us of Him. Where are we at from last night? Who remembers? Surah Al-Kahf. No? Al-Dukhan. What? From Surah Al-Dukhan, what? No, you're looking. فما بكت عليهم السماء والأرض وما كانوا منظرين. And yes, indeed, we were pondering, subhanallah, about that very special, divinely wondrous, I would say, ayah, that space-time, heavens, the skies, the open space, as-sama, and earth, they mourn and they shed tears for the good human beings, for the mu'min. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that, otherwise we wouldn't know. And His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned that to us, otherwise we wouldn't dare. Because this is of ilm al-ghayb, this is beyond that which we see and beyond that which we perceive with our senses. Even intellectually, I don't think someone will come up with that from the blue, were it not for the wahi from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who created everything subhanahu wa ta'ala and who is in control of everything subhanahu wa ta'ala with His perfect beauty and majesty subhanahu wa ta'ala. And thus we mentioned, mashallah, that for the person who is good, for the good mu'min, who lives his or her life, and of course we are physical entities endowed with souls, and we live in space-time. And even space-time around us picks what we do, knows what we do, knows in inverted commas what we do, witnesses what we do. And not only that, and would miss us when we leave this dunya. Would miss us when we leave this dunya. Subhanallah. When you are in dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal, when you are in dua, when you are in salah, when you are kind, when you are charitable, when you are forgiving, all these deeds and these tasarrufat and these actions are witnessed not only, mashallah, by the angels, by the malaika who record, and maybe by some good people, but even when we are alone or not alone, the space in which we are on earth records what we do and witnesses what we do and testifies to what we do. In other words, one thing is very important. We can never be alone. When we are alone, we are not alone. Even if you are up in the open, very, very cold space, and there is nothing and no one, you are never alone. The space in which you are, Allah has created in it some sort of what we might call figuratively consciousness or awareness. Subhanallah. And thus, on the Day of Judgment, space, time, and Earth, where we would stand, or any planet on which we would stand, would also testify and witness to what we do. Subhanallah. And it is in this context that this ayah, though it was speaking about the people of Fir'aun, that Allah says about them when He destroyed them, فَمَا بَكَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ السَّمَاءُ وَالْأَرْضُ وَمَا كَانُوا مُنظَرِينَ. And that teaches us that those who are not like Fir'aun and his people, nay, those who are believers and those who are righteous and upright and good, space-time, heavens and earth, would miss them and would mourn their absence from this current four-dimensional existence. It is in that context that I was saying what I was saying. So I would continue. And what is the thing that I last mentioned? Who remembered? Right. And then I said what? And then I said what? That's right. And I said tomorrow for those who are here. So you are here. So he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in that very, again, very special, spiritual, I would say, hadith. He said, the first part you have heard in another hadith. The first part you have heard in another hadith. This is not the same hadith in which that first part comes, which says, بدأ الإسلام غريبا وسيعود غريبا. First of all, Islam began as a stranger, and it shall end up to be stranger. In other words, as time passes and the hour gets closer, Islam will begin to become not the standard anymore, not the norm anymore. It will be so lost and so rejected with time that it becomes like a foreigner, a stranger in the middle of others that are very, very, very different. Gharib, that's gharib. A loner, a stranger, a foreigner. بدأ الإسلام غريبا. It began like that. When it began, how many Muslims there were first? You know, one. Who? Sayyiduna Mawlana Muhammadun sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. And then few little ones, few. After 23 years, still few. But, alhamdulillah, a lot of barakah. And then it spread and it spread. And then, as everything of the creation of Allah Azza wa Jal, it increases, and everything after it increases, it must come to standstill, an end, an optimum. And then after that, it begins to هذه سنة الله في خلقه. This is the law of God, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His creation. And we see that in everything created. The human being, when you are in a fetus, very, very weak, and you grow and you grow and you grow and you come out and you grow physically and mentally and intellectually, and then after that, after a certain age and a certain time, it begins to go down and down and down until we end up under the ground. And in the ground, as we started. بدأ الإسلام غريبا وسيعود غريبا. Remember in another hadith that you know, what does it say after this? طوبى للغرباء. In that hadith, it says, oh, what an excellent abode awaits those strangers. Those who are the few, the little ones, who uphold that deen and hold fast to it despite all the currents, despite all the pressures, despite everything else. And they hold to it. طوبى لهم طوبى لهم وحسن مآب. Tawbah is in one word in the Arabic language, it means what an excellent abode. But Tawbah, it is also said in some commentaries that it is a very special position or state in Jannah. Now this hadith, it doesn't say that, it says something else. بدأ الإسلام غريبا وسيعود غريبا ألا لا غربة على مؤمن. ألا لا غربة على مؤمن. In other words, do know, for a mu'min, for a faithful person, for a believing man or woman, there is no غربة. There is no strangeness. In other words, a mu'min is never gharib in one sense, in one way. A mu'min is never gharib. In other words, he or she has always around him or her those who care for him, who lend support to him. In this case, what he says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we have to continue, of course, the text. أَلَا لَا غُرْبَةَ عَلَى مُؤْمِنٍ. How is that? He says, مَا مَاتَ مُؤْمِنٌ فِي غُرْبَةٍ غَابَتْ عَنْهُ فِيهَا بَوَاكِيهِ. First of all, this part. غُرْبَتُهُ in a sense, if the mu'min dies, if the believing good man or woman dies in ghurba, in a strange land, alone, where nobody knows him or her, and therefore no one special to mourn him, no one to mourn him. This is gharib. SubhanAllah, there is a poem, some of you might have heard of it. It's very, very beautiful poem, ليس الغريب. It is said to be composed by Sayyiduna wa Mawlana Ali Zayn al-Abidin ibn Sayyidina Mawlana al-Husayn ibn Sayyidina Mawlana Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'een. And it's very, very, very spiritual, very beautiful, very heart-moving about who the real stranger is. And he describes in that poem the stranger of a land, in a land, and what it is, and how emotional it is to, subhanAllah, to read that. And then, but he says, and that's not the true stranger. The stranger, and he elaborates in that poem so beautifully, so, subhanAllah, is the one in the grave, alone. And the loneliness of the grave. And he describes that in ways that are La ilaha illallah. ليس الغريب غريب الشام واليمن إن الغريب غريب اللحد والكفن. And he goes on. Maybe one day I'll recite it to you, inshallah. So he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ما مات مؤمن في غربة. Whenever a mu'min dies in ghurba, alone, nobody he knows or she knows to mourn them and to care for them. ما من مؤمن يموت في غربة. Second, غابت فيها عنه بواكيه. In other words, in which there is no one present to shed tears for his or her death. to mourn his or her death? No one. That's in our cultures, that's really gharib, isn't it? Gharib. That's a stranger. That's a real foreigner. SubhanAllah. So he said the mu'min is not a gharib. Why? When that happens, بكته السماء والأرض. بكته السماء والأرض. And he recited the ayah in Surah Al-Dukhan. فما بكت عليهم السماء والأرض وما كانوا منظرين. He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, however, as-sama and earth mourn him. Subhanallah. Mourn him, shed tears for him. And what a karama from Allah to the mu'min. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. And therefore, for that to happen to us, whether we are alone or not alone, even when we're not alone, and there are good people who care for us and mourn us and bury us and so on, even then still with them, السماء والأرض أيضا يبكيان. They both, sama, heavens, space, and earth and land, do mourn the believer. So what does this tell you and me? SubhanAllah. Every space in which I am, every parcel and piece of earth on which I walk, they are a potential of mourners of mine. Why do I say potential? It depends on what we did in that space and on that parcel of earth. If I'm a person, if I lived a life of goodness, of righteousness, of kindness, of benevolence, of fairness, of awareness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and therefore dhikr, and salah, and dua, and siyam, and sadaqah, and hajj, and umrah, and forgiveness, and pardoning, maghfirah, wal-afu, wal-safh. If I am that person, guaranteed by this spiritual revelation that they are on my side, they are my friends. Subhanallah. Another teaching of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that is well established amongst our Salaf is that, let's say parcels of earth, mountains and hill, they communicate with one another. Were it not for revelation and wahy, we wouldn't know. Imagine not only trees and leaves and birds, they are in tasbih of Allah Azza wa Jal, and they are in awareness and consciousness that we do not grasp yet at our current human level. Not only that, but even pieces of mountains, hills, parcels of lands, they communicate with one another. How? I don't know. Allah who created from nothing the human being and made the human being be able to speak and to communicate and to understand and so on, is the one who in the way He wills makes other creatures of His communicate in the way and in the modality He wills, subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَا ذَلِكَ عَلَى اللَّهِ بِعَسِيرٍ. So what do? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam related in this text, as far as I remember. They ask one another, did today someone walk on you or pass by you, O mountain, who was in dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal? Subhanallah. Like you sit and you chat with one another about whatever you chat. Some of it good, some of it unfortunately terrible. and useless and vain or even evil, ma'adallah. And imagine these creatures talk to one another. And of the conversation, hey, what happened today? Oh, someone, maybe they describe you by name, actually performed 4 rak'ah on that spot, my spot there. The other one says, really? He says, yes. And the text teaches this meaning. The parcel and part of the mountain or of the earth that in that conversation says somebody performed salah or was in dhikr on me is celebrated by the others and is considered to be privileged today. La ilaha illallah. Look what Allah has in store for the human being and for the mu'min. Look how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how special He makes the human being. And He considers the human being, the mu'min human being in particular. And therefore, فَمَا بَكَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ السَّمَاءُ وَالْأَرْضُ. If we are not like these, then when we leave this dunya, instead of mourning us, what would it be? Good riddance. Good riddance. Ya Latif. They say, Alhamdulillah, that he is no more. Alhamdulillah, that he walks no more on me. Alhamdulillah, that he is no more in my space. These fasiq, or this kafir, or this mushrik, or this criminal, or this horrible person. Good riddance. Because those like that, or like that, they are not also kind to the creatures of Allah Azza wa Jal. Keep that in mind. The mu'min is supposed to be kind. And that's why everything loves that mu'min is with them. The trees, the birds, the ants. As we said, even the inanimate rocks and dust and boulders and mountains. Not only the birds and the animals and so on, because he is good or she is good. So they miss him. If someone is treacherous, if someone is violent, if someone is spendthrift and abusive of the environment, if someone has no rahmah, no merciful love, no loving mercy for the creatures of Allah, for the ants, for the birds, and we teach our children to kill birds and to have no respect for animal life. And by the way, when we teach ourselves, our children, not to respect life in general, animal life, those of us like that, rest assured that we have inside the potential to have no respect for human life. That's a step toward that. A family of people who show no compassion for birds, for cats, for dogs. I'm not saying that you should have a dog at home. For dogs, for leaves, for trees. If we have no compassion for that, then the potential in us is that we do not have compassion for a human being. And a person like that cannot be missed by birds, cannot be missed by leaves, cannot be missed by ants. On the contrary, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah that she is gone, or he is gone. فَمَا بَكَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ السَّمَاءُ وَالْأَرْضُ وَمَا كَانُوا مُنظَرِينَ. That's why I remind myself and you a hadith that many of you know perhaps also. Rasulullah ﷺ said, not only the angels in the upper heavens of Allah Azza wa Jal, in His malakut subhanahu wa ta'ala, not only the angels do pray for the good person and for the one who teaches people good. And therefore, who is good? In those days when Rasulullah says, a person who teaches people good is a person who is also good and practices that good which he or she teaches. So he said, not only the angels pray for such a person, but also, who knows? الطير في السماء الطير في الجو والحيتان في البحر. Not only angels do that and love that person and pray for that person, but he said also even the birds in the air and the fish in the water, they pray for you. يا مؤمن يا فاعل الخير ويا معلم الناس الخير. The mu'min who is good, who does good, who teaches others good, is prayed for, not only by the angels, but even by creatures like birds, and even fish, and even ants. And they miss you when you leave, because you are good, because you do good, because you care for them. A person like that, a mu'min, cares for every creature of Allah Azza wa Jal. That's why a mu'min cannot be abusive if we are truly of Iman. Cannot be, should not be abusive, should not be excessive, should not be hurtful, should not be environment abusive. A mu'min is loved by everything else. And billahi alaykum, when you hear these things and you have Iman, and we have some Iman about in this deen of ours and what Rasulullah said, what should your relationship be now with these creatures? I can tell you, I used to do diving sometimes. And when I dive, I really greet the fish. I say, Assalamu alaikum inside. I am in dhikr, wallahi. I'm in dhikr under the water. Subhanallah, la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. And I know they are in dhikr. If I walk in nature, I feel these words, I feel these meanings. And I talk to the leaves, to the birds, to the ants. And I am in dhikr with them. I want to be in harmony with them because I know they are in dhikr of Allah. And if I am in dhikr of Allah, I am in harmony with all of this creation around me. If I am not in dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal, I am in disharmony with everything around me. And I can never be in resonance with them. And then I would hurt them in that way. And if I hurt them, I hurt me. And instead of praying for me, they probably, what would they do? Invoke Allah Azza wa Jal for Ya Latif. And yes, Rasulullah teaches us also that sometimes these creatures, these dawab, they invoke Allah Azza wa Jal against some human beings on account of the sins of human beings that do damage to nature itself. Wallahi akad, there are texts that teaches these things. That these dawab, these birds, and these creatures that walk on earth, and these ants, they invoke Allah against these peoples because of their sins that led to, for example, withholding rain, or bringing drought, or sending some natural catastrophes. They invoke Allah against such people who are the root cause by their misbehavior, by their cruelty, by their lack of spirituality, by their lack of goodness. They invoke Allah Azza wa Jal against them. May Allah Azza wa Jal protect us and save us and guard us. Ya Rabbi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the next thing, which we are going to continue hopefully tomorrow. From Surah Ash-Shura, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَمَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَمَا عِندَ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ وَالَّذِينَ يَجْتَنِبُونَ كَبَائِرَ الْإِثْمِ وَالْفَوَاحِشَ وَإِذَا مَا غَضِبُوا هُمْ يَغْفِرُونَ وَالَّذِينَ اسْتَجَابُوا لِرَبِّهِمْ وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ إلى غير ذلك, which inshallah ta'ala we'll begin to address a little more tomorrow بإذن الله تعالى. So this is about first Allah saying, first, فَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ, whatever you acquire and you are given of anything that is of this world. Anything of this world, even of course, especially in legitimate ways. فَمَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. مَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. This is simply a means of enjoying this lower life. متاع, that الذي نتمتع به. It is a transient enjoyment of this world. It's a transient enjoyment of this world. Whatever it is, فَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ. And look, Allah says, فَمَا أُوتِيتُم, whatever you are given. Because we don't think that way. When we have, how did we have what we have? I got it. I got it. It's not, I was given it by Allah Azza wa Jal. I got it. Or you didn't. Or I got. I did. I worked. I won. And we talked about that I last night and the night before. Please remember that. So Allah reminds us, أوتيتم بصيغة المبني للمجهول. You were given. من شيء, whatever. فمتاع الحياة الدنيا. Secondly, وما عند الله. Allahu Akbar, look at this beautiful. وما عند الله خير وأبقى. And that which is with Allah is khair, is good, and is better, and is lasting, everlasting. عند الله. عند Allah. That which is with Allah is better. That is which is in store for you, O believing man and women. With Allah is better and everlasting. That's why some righteous people, when look how the way they think, when they hear this ayah and many other ayat, by the way, like this, عند الله وما عند الله خير وأبقى. They think and they feel. So what is with Allah is everlasting and remains. So in their lives, everything they do, everything they own, they give, they say, we want it to be stored for us with Allah. They give it away in the way Allah loves so that it stays with Allah. If it stays with me, he says, it's not going to last. That's their attitude. Whatever. So like when you have in this dunya, when people have money, a lot of money, or some money nowadays even, they want to save it, where would they put it? They don't keep it. They give it, in inverted commas, away to the bank. وَمَا عِنْدَ الْبَنْك. They think خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى. Those people, this is what they are. وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى. So what Allah gives them of khair, of dunya, and of akhirah, of ilm, of mal, of jah, they give it to Allah through dispensing of it to those whom Allah loves to be dispensed to. And that's how they say, we store it, we save it with Allah. And that's everlasting. May Allah help us be of those who listen to the words of admonition and follow the best of them. اللهم اجعلنا من الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. اللهم اغفر لنا واهدنا واعف عنا وعافنا وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله الطاهرين وأصحابه الميامين والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا